Hey, family, and welcome to Covenant Keeper's very first segment of the podcast. We're very blessed to even have a platform to share. This is God's platform, to be clear, and we're very honored to even be able to produce and release what it is he desires for us to release. And so these will be more intimate, but they will be very short and digestible for our audience. So before we get started, I want to let everybody know who their host is. My name is Najia. I am the founder here at Covenant Keepers. And again, it's a blessing to be here, y'all. Like I can't even tell you the half of the spiritual component that comes with releasing and just doing what God told you to do. Like, I'm not trying to shy y'all away from being obedient. Like, keep being obedient and obeying what it is you know you're supposed to be doing and what God has charged you to do. But it does not mean this walk and being in covenant is easy, because that would be a lie. It's not. But the beautiful thing about the covenant God made with me, and I hope that he makes with you very soon, or if he already has, is that he relies on the fact that he's able. And we're also to rely on the fact that he's able. Our covenant is not dependent on our holiness or our works or how much we labor, but it is completely dependent on the character of God and his goodness and his faithfulness. And we are taught through these things, and we are transformed by his love into the image of his son, who I call Hamashiach. I know a lot of people call him Christ, but yeah. And we're going to talk about what God wants us to talk about today, and that is fear. So, y'all, God instructed me to hop on here and tell y'all the truth, okay? So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to tell you the truth because that's all he is, and that's all I can give you. So what is fear? Fear is, in my definition, and let's not even go with my definition, that's probably not best, but fear is like, my goodness, it's like death. It's death. Like, fear is death, and it's very close. Like, I don't even know how else to describe it. Like, fear is death. Fear is like a blocker. It stands in the way. It's a barrier. It's false. It's, yeah, like fear sucks. Okay, let me tell y'all that. Okay, fear sucks. And I remember a few days ago, I was sitting in front of my bed, and I was just and I was actually thinking about today. And I was like, God, what is it? What do I have to say about fear? The nerve of me, right? But, and you guys are going to get that in a minute. But one revelation that came through example, and I feel like a lot of times in relationship, God uses these real life examples, and our Messiah did that all throughout the Bible. Like, we see him use parables to speak and teach and reach the hearts and minds of the people that he ministered to. And so I'm just like them, okay? Listen, but to get to the example, I thought of a woman who's pregnant, and then I thought of fear, and fear is like, it like stops the birth of God's, it like stops the birth of the things God impregnates you with spiritually, of course. Because as we know, spiritually, there's no talk of gender, really. It's just, it's no talk of gender. It's just your spirit, man. Granted, y'all, we the Messiah already came and he was perfect so that we don't have to be. God sent his only begotten son. Okay, he willingly gave him up though so that you and I might be saved, and we are happy for it. But I want you to think of your destiny and the things God wants you to do on a kingdom scale. Like, we have to stop thinking that. I had to make sure the camera was still on, y'all, because it's been a lot of warfare leading up to this. But let me get back to what I was saying. So think of your destiny on a kingdom scale. Think of it as big, like as big as you think God, like as big as you. And I don't know, it may vary for some of us because we're still learning. We're ever getting to know Him. But like right now, think of the craziest thing ever, like the biggest thing, like what's really big for you, like to you, what do you deem like that's huge or that's wow? Or think of something that's happened to a loved one or someone you know, or a story you heard about where this crazy thing happened and you're like, that's amazing. And then think about the things God has told you you need to do and you're here to do, and liken it to your calling, like liken it to the things He's placed in your hands, because nothing God does is small, and fear wants to kill it. The word tells us the enemy comes to steal, he comes to kill and destroy. Like he knows his function and purpose. Okay, he's made it's clear. He's at it every day. Every day he don't sleep. Like this ancient cherubim is not sleeping on you, baby. He's on it. Repeat every day. He is on it. He while you sleeping, Sting, he's trying to figure out ways to ruin your life. Or at least get you one step closer to that place. Like, and none of us are exempt. None of us are none of us are perfect. Like, we know that. But we do have an enemy. You have an adversary just like me. And that's why the word tells us to be sober and to be vigilant. But if I'm in fear, I can't be those things. It's hard for me to be those things. I can't. On one hand, you can't be fearful, and on the other hand, be sober and vigilant in all the things God calls us to be, in Him and in His Spirit, through His Spirit, by His Spirit. We can't be those things and also choose to hang on to fear. Fear is a killer. Like, fear is an exterminator. That's the word. Fear is an exterminator. And you and I, we gotta come out of agreement. That's the bottom line. We have to stop. We have to choose to believe what the word says over all things. And I also think it's really important, something I've been going over in my mind recently about is being a forgetful hearer, and how the word in James, it talks about being a forgetful hearer is like looking in the mirror, seeing your face, and then you walk away from the mirror and then you forget what you look like. And that's crazy. Like, and I think oftentimes fear comes in because the vision, in some respect, no, not even the vision, in some way you've forgotten who God is, or there's a part of Him you have yet to learn and seek out. Or you've misinterpreted Him in some way, and your confidence is failing. And I think this is a beautiful part to talk about covenant and how covenant is wonderful, guys, because I tell you, like, David didn't win against Goliath because of his smooth stones and his awesome aim with the slingshot. It was just the covenant he had with God. And like we talked about in the beginning, like, it's not about this walk with God is not about perfection. It's not about what you can do. It's not about your skills, your accolades, your attributes, what you develop yourself in. It's not about the blessings that rain down. It's not about any of that. It's like, this thing is, He's our foundation. So this thing is supposed to be built on Him. And if it's built on Him, it can't fail. That thing's eternal. Okay? Like, even the covenant of our forefathers, like those we read about in the Old Testament, shoot, and the New Testament, like the whole book. It's one book. The whole thing goes over these marvelous happenings. And we go back to Paul literally referring to himself as dung because he knew the covenant had nothing to do with Paul. It had nothing to do with him. Nothing to do with him. Even his encounter with Hamashiach was it was all based on him. Like it wasn't he was rendered powerless in a way that showed him the sovereignty of God. And I think we have to stop forgetting who our Father in heaven is, who we are in him, how he feels about us, what authority we have, what we're capable of in him. And that we don't belong to this world. And there's nothing to fear. Like I was saying, fear has been it's been a plague for some time. And I think this is a point this is a really important point. This is a really important point. Go back and talk to God and ask God, when did fear come in? Where did it enter my life that resulted in it ruling me the way it does now? And how do I kill it? Because it gotta go. It gotta go. It's one of those, either it's gonna get you or you gonna get it. Okay? And it's written, we gonna get it. It has to go. So, I pray this has blessed you in some way, shape, or form. I pray that these little nuggets that are dropped every Tuesday speak to your heart and speak to your mind in the way it should. And I pray they draw you nearer to God in intimacy, in truth, and calling, and all things righteous. And I love you guys to life. If you have any questions for me, you can always reach out. We're always readily available on Instagram via DM. We're also on TikTok. Feel free to reach out. Give us a little follow. We love talking to you guys. And I bid you farewell with much love. And I say, until next time.